I was watching a video this morning on this dude, probably like 23 or something. I forget his actual age, but he was talking about women, and it was interesting to see the perspective of like the young 23-year-olds, the mid 20-year-olds, all talking about this. And it's like they kind of get close to the truth, but they don't exactly get to the truth. Because, like, what did he say? He said something to the effect of, we glorify women too much. Well, the whole thing is, like, it's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be glorifying. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, not really. You're supposed to give credit to the male. The male's in charge. To be like, wow, the woman. You know, look at how strong our community is, and how, you know, great our women are. That's a flex. So yeah, of course we're gonna glorify women, you know. But what he's trying to really get to is, like, he hasn't figured it out yet. It's the double standard. So, like, in school, I remember clearly where if, you know, a chick gets into an argument with a dude, the chick's always right. Even the teacher's like, you know, butting in, like, no, she's right. Why is she right? Well, because she chose the peaceful route, and she's being like, you know, she's saying things like to be vindictive, basically, like the person that you're up against. And, you know, that's how they win the fight. And somebody else steps in, they're like, no, you can't fight back, type shit. That's really, like, what's happened in today's society is that. And that's what's, like, weakened males. Because, like, now, because the woman is going to say the thing that's, you know, from the female perspective, a feminine type thing, it's just, let's all be peaceful now. But in a way to cause issues at the exact same time. Okay. And the male, in order to fight back, he's just like, well, you know, he's just a caveman. He doesn't know how to handle that. But now, so, like, it's this double standard, though, that the teacher would point the finger at the male and not the female. That's kind of dumbed down the next generation, where they feel totally defenseless as males. They were told, no, you can't have your honestly, you know, strong opinion about whatever it is, even if it's wrong. You're not allowed to have that opinion, and you can't express it. That's what's been happening in the classrooms. I used to try to get into debates. I was literally kept out of the debates because my position was too strong. And they would say things like, oh, your position is just too strong, though. Like, nobody can actually debate that. Like, what, isn't that the point of debating, though? Like, if you have, you know, something that totally makes sense, why can't you bring that to the debate? So that's what's been kind of forced on males is, you know, we weren't allowed to strive above or, you know, reach for the stars when we were younger, even if we knew how to do it. Unless we were the favorite. So the foreign exchange students were always the favorite, automatically. Like in the most youngest generations, I remember in elementary school, it's like the foreign exchange students were the best, always the best. The teachers were like, we need to bring out the red carpet for this one. This is a rare occurrence. This person's from another country. Oh, they're so much smarter than you, like, you know, it was so stupid. But yeah. Everything's been shoved into American males' faces as like, oh, you're just not good enough. Somebody else already accomplished that. We know how that goes, and all this gaslighting bullshit. That's what women do. That's what women do. It's gaslighting. That's their form of defense. Now, there's a reason for it. So, as you can see, I'm kind of identifying sneaky tactics, right? Well, the reason why they're being sneaky is for a survival instinct, a reasonable survival instinct. Okay? Now, this is where I give, you know, credit where credit is due. You gotta look at it from both sides. If you're a dude, you have to see it this way. So a chick being generally having less defense than a male, natural defenses than a male, they're going to pick the flee response over the fight response, you know. So that's kind of why they do that. It's kind of like it's genetic. And there's a reason why. There's an understandable reason why. You know, it's a natural instinct. But that's what you have to understand about, you know, females in general. It's like there's plenty of females that rise above that. I'm not saying every single female is like that, but they tend, like, the tendency is towards what I had just described. And the reason why is because of groupthink. So that's another thing. You know, people are like, "Oh, you can't generalize things." Yes, I can. When everybody's reading from the same fucking manual, yes, I can generalize things a little bit. That's the thing that people forget, is that, like, you know, if you're seeing the source of information is coming from this one central point, everybody's reading from the same manual, yeah, you can kind of generalize how people might act, the reasons why they might act, and that they may take these actions to begin with, you know. Yes, you can generalize if everybody's reading from the same manual, and it seems like the chicks are all reading from the same manual and making the same mistakes. And a lot of dudes are kind of reading from a lot of different manuals, and they're making, like, a lot of the same mistakes because they're not finding that middle ground. They're not going to find the middle ground because, you know, dudes are supposed to stay dumb. That's not what we're wired for, is all this talking and stuff. It's like, yeah, you know, there's a leader. There's too many chieftains, too many people trying to be a chieftain right now. I stayed on the sidelines because I was like, you know, there's a moment when we have the ability to sit at that level, but, you know, you gotta actually have the ladder built first. Hey, there's the self-stand thing again. Hey, DoorDash, in order. I'm here for like 10 minutes longer, not getting in order than I wanted. Feel that snapping. Like, I don't know if I positioned my toe. I didn't even, like, stint it or anything. So yeah, people got like half of it kind of right. Glorified women or something. They're just using the wrong words, I think, and they're seeing it from the wrong perspective. Like, yeah, we need to be glorifying women. That's the whole point of women, you know, they're beautiful. But we can't let them get away with all this shit. You know, what he had also said is, yeah, those dudes, and this is pretty much where I'm coming from as well. You know, it was originally the dude's, like, fault for even, like, being weak enough to accept this sort of behavior to begin with. But we need to do something about it. There needs to be something done. At this point, we have to just, you know, you try to deal with a female nowadays in a non-business formal position, they just act crazy. And, like, it's just listen. They're overdoing it sometimes. It may be because of this, because of that, because of the other, but it doesn't matter at this point. We've got a bunch of people that are voting our entire citizens out of existence. They're trying to go against laws that will protect our country from invasion. What the fuck, dude? That's insane. This needs to stop. Gen Z is waking up to it. They see what the hell's going on. First of all, no immigrant at this point should be voting before they're ever a citizen. All right? And if they're going to be a citizen, how is their vote weighted so heavily? I don't think that their vote as a brand new citizen, doesn't matter which, country they come from, brand new citizen shouldn't count as a full vote. Common sense, right? So yeah, you guys, your next generation, you're just running into the same problems that we were dealing with as millennials. These problems didn't exist when, World War II ended and you had a baby boomer generation and they had plenty of fun. There was always good times. But now you've got an entire country that's been invaded. It's like at least 10%, in my opinion, is a group of invaders. I'm on DoorDash. Dude, it's been too long already. But if this thing isn't cutting out like it isn't, it's obviously not. That means what I did fixed the problem. Let's recap on what's going on. Now they're talking about the screwworm a little bit more. They talked about that. That was a pretty serious topic. People should have their eyes out. It's a flesh-eating parasite. Bricks and minifig situation. The GoFundMe apparently, I think, got put back up again. And that's, you look at the issue, is there's a much bigger issue. Like, there was one of these lawyers that he got some videos brought in of people going to these little consignment places, sort of, these places where the Lego sales places, hobby places, and he was trying to get his stuff priced. And one of these guys, actually a young dude, he went to the place with a $1,000 minifigure and tried to get a price match on it, see what they would pay. One place offered $50. $50. Not just for the figure, like for the entire box, including that figure. And then another place, they priced it out to like $800. So like there's no consistency in these hobby shops. And that kind of stuff also needs to be exposed. But there's so much BS going on everywhere. It's insanity. My freaking foot, dude. I need to get an order, man. It's like, I wanted to go out at 7, but I couldn't because people still hadn't left. I'm basically late. And I still got a busted foot. So I don't know if you guys were updated on that. I showed you guys probably last night. I wrapped the new pieces that I'm going to use for a phone stand up against the bag itself, and I might just like make a new phone stand, but it'll be attached to the bag rather than having like its own separate trap, having extra weight. Because that was an issue. It was too much weight. Other people are holding this little mini stick and they like take just video on a little tiny body cam. I'm trying to do it on my phone and trying to make it like where I can actually use it and stuff, where it's hands free. Anybody watching? We've got 2 people watching. It's crazy how many people jump in and they just don't say anything. See, I want to be sitting right here rather than going all the way down the road and everything before I get the order. Because I don't want to ride, like, I don't want to ride slowly. When I ride slowly, I have to use the breakdown lane. When I use the breakdown lane, chances are I'm going to get a worse, there's a higher chance of a flat tire. Top of that, my freaking foot hurts, but I need to, like, have it elevated, dude. I need to be, I shouldn't be working, but I need to. Imagine riding a bike with a broken foot so that you can afford keeping your license from being expired so you can renew it. Like, some say people are in a really tight, really bad spot right now. If they are in a bad spot, there's no heroes out here to save anybody. It's kind of getting worse and worse and worse. Back in the day, in the 1930s, Great Depression, after the World War I, there were still farms. And there were still people that had skills that were useful in every sense. Plenty of people who knew how to dig wells and have them sanitary. Plenty of people knowing how to filter water without the new systems that we have today. We don't have that today. If shit hit the fan, shit hits the fan. It's getting all over everyone. In order to have the systems that we do right now, the access to the clean water that we do right now, we need to have civilization completely intact. Look at Rome. They got chased out of their city.